Welcome to Tell Our Stories. I'm Ryan McNamara, and for this episode, we're including pieces of a conversation that was broader in scope inside Direct Supply's Innovation and Technology Center, located in Milwaukee, with County Executive David Crowley. He's a leader who's focused on building stronger communities and expanding opportunities across Milwaukee County and the state. We explored a little bit about how local leadership and public-private collaborations can help shape the future of aging services, strengthen the caregiving workforce, and ensure that communities are prepared for growing needs that our older adults have. We'll cover how innovation, economic development, and smart policy meet at the local level, and then what it takes to align some of those government providers and industry partners with the overall goal of improving access, outcomes, and quality of life. Overall, I really enjoyed our conversation, and I think you will too. So, because behind every statistic is a story, and every story is a call to action. This is Tell Our Stories. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Ryan McNamara, coming to you live from the Direct Supply Innovation and Technology Center here in downtown Milwaukee. Super excited to be here with everybody today to host this conversation as a part of our local government engagement series here at Direct Supply, as well as an episode of the Tell Our Stories podcast. Our local government engagement series has been focused on bringing the perspectives of local elected officials directly to partners here at Direct Supply and sharing those perspectives further through the Tell Our Stories platform. I'm so lucky to be joined today by my colleague Sharon Jordan, who's our Director of Community Relations at Direct Supply. And our special guest today is David Crowley, Milwaukee County Executive.
Great. Well, good afternoon. It's an honor to introduce a forward-thinking leader in our community, David Crowley. From his early experience with Urban Underground, remember that? To his role today as our county executive, David's journey reflects resilience, purpose, and a deep commitment to service. I've had the privilege of observing his work over the years, and I'm grateful for the mutual respect that we have for each other, as well as for our commitment to our community and the people that we serve. So under his leadership, Milwaukee County continues to advance initiatives that strengthen the well-being of residents of all ages, especially seniors, and expanding access to services, caregiver support, and resources that promote dignity and independence. And those are priorities that are closely aligned with Direct Supply's mission to serve seniors and also those who care for them. So I look forward to this conversation today. And the opportunity to align, our public leadership, our private innovation here at the ITC, as well as our community partnerships to shape the future of aging. So without further ado, please, let's welcome our Milwaukee County Executive, David Crowley.
Oh, well, first and foremost, thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Sharon. Thank you all. It's such a pleasure to be here touring this beautiful space, but also learning about the partnerships that you also have with MSOE. Yeah. And I truly want to say just thank you, right? Direct Supply, you all are not just providing technology and innovation and helping individuals live longer, live with dignity, but more importantly, live independently. But you all have a stake in this community. And I truly appreciate how you continue to engage with local residents, potential new workforce members. But, this is near and dear to me because I remember taking care of my mother before she passed. She had kidney disease, but also making sure that other folks understand that we all have a role to play when it comes down to making sure that people can live independently and age with dignity. So every role is for everybody, but there is a role for all of us, especially.
That's true.
Great point there, County Executive. And, you've had the opportunity to spend some time here at the Innovation Center today. We're located here at the intersection of Direct Supply's campus as well as the Milwaukee School of Engineering. We're trying to get folk to think about senior living in an innovative and technology-forward way. Yeah. And so, in your role as County Executive, you've done a lot of work to bring businesses to Milwaukee County and to grow the businesses here that are already here. And so I really want to start this conversation by thinking back. Milwaukee has recently hosted a Republican National Convention not long ago. They hosted the DNC a little bit in 2020, but the city has been on the national map of late and the county at large. So do you have any big takeaways you can share with the audience for those experiences of recent conventions, and what did it reveal about Milwaukee's capacity to host some of these big events and host big businesses and be on a national stage?
I think it showed us that one, we can walk and chew gum, meaning that we can continue to have our downtown open while having big conventions as well, because this helps to bring more innovation, helps to attract not just visitors, but potential opportunities for businesses and future employees to see what we have to offer.
So I'm wondering, how do you see Milwaukee and the state of Wisconsin in particular positioning itself as a national leader in technology advancement while ensuring innovation benefits our neighborhoods and our folks and our families and future generations? What are your thoughts
I
on that?
think there's a lot we can do. We know that we have tech clusters all across the state of Wisconsin, including here in Milwaukee, Madison. We're seeing a little bit pop up in the Town Tech in Green Bay. And with the fact that we have data centers and artificial intelligence companies looking at Wisconsin, this is an opportunity to really leverage so much opportunity, right? Like, you think about these data centers. How could this become a community benefit, not just in the communities they're building that infrastructure, but for the entire state of Wisconsin, helping our young people leverage this technology so they're ready for the employment opportunities in the future. But it's not just, bringing up these technologies to provide opportunities, right? But how do we continue to benefit the community at the end of the day? And we know that technology can change quite rapidly and quite often. And so it's extremely important that we stay ahead of the curve. And so the one thing I want to say is that, a lot of people, especially in the tech sector, right? A lot of people get their first check on the East Coast or on the West Coast or in Chicago. I want to make sure they get their first check here in Wisconsin,
Great.
right? We shouldn't just help businesses start. We should help them continue to grow strong for at least 5 years. But also, how do we use legacy companies, right? Like direct supply to help spin off more innovation, create more opportunities to see us grow our economic opportunities.
Great point. I think, the technology infrastructure and the data center piece is going to be key to Milwaukee continuing to be an engine for technology and innovation growth in the next decade. And so it's really refreshing to hear your take on that. And I think too often people are afraid of what's next, but it sounds like you're really looking forward and saying, what can we make possible here in Milwaukee, and how can we drive innovation while still keeping communities at the center of the work that's being done?
And speaking of the county, another question I had was how can the county and partner with companies like Direct Supply, right? And not only to drive innovation and attract talent, but also to strengthen our community's well-being and the shared civic responsibility.
Well, one, when I think about the technology, right? Milwaukee County, we have our Commission on Aging. We have 5 different senior centers. We provide a lot of support systems for our older adults. I mean, we have over 190,000 older adults right here within Milwaukee County. And so if there are ways that we can incorporate the technology, but also how do we partner to make sure that we're building that important talent pipeline, right? To make sure that we're continuing to invest in innovation. When it comes down to community benefits, like, you think of our senior centers, these are places where people are just playing cars. They're doing Zumba, they're playing pool, they're doing things
We
that,
support them
you
as
know,
well. Washington Park. And the rest of them
absolutely.
as
And
well. So,
thank
yeah,
you.
You're welcome.
And so we want to continue to strengthen those things. And I think that one, coming together, especially when it comes down to workforce development, making sure that young people are ready for college so they can be pipelined to go to schools like Milwaukee School of Engineering or whatever school that they so choose, but they can come into an opportunity like Direct Supply to work here. But also, we have to leverage one another. I truly believe that public-private partnerships are the way forward, especially for local governments to continue to sustain many of the programs and services so many folks rely on. And so I want to continue to strengthen the public-private partnerships, especially with organizations like Direct Supply, because it's creating efficiency, it's bringing more innovation, and it's going to help all of us save more money.
It's true.
Yeah, we're glad to hear that you're looking to partner with local businesses. I think it's so important, that, especially these issues on aging and the senior care population in Wisconsin. We have a growing senior care population here in Wisconsin. Projections are that that population is going to continue to grow. When you think about addressing the workforce challenges that long-term care communities are facing, since the pandemic, we are just now seeing long-term care communities recover their level of employment that they saw prior to the pandemic. And those numbers of residents in those communities is increasing every day. 10,000 seniors a day and up to 11,000 now, I think was the most recent number I heard, are turning 65 every day. So, we need to be a little bit creative about how we incentivize folks to work in long-term care communities and healthcare communities. Do you have a message to young folks or young people who might be thinking AI and evolving technology, is dangerous or could potentially harm their job prospects? do you have a message for those who may be interested or invested in working in healthcare communities or long-term care communities?
I don't think that we're at a point where AI is taking the jobs. I think we're at a point where people who know how to use AI are taking the jobs. And so we want to make sure that our young people are ready, right? Because we're coming more of a technological workforce. So it's extremely important that folks understand that this is something that you have to learn. It's definitely want to be employed for the long term. And so we shouldn't be scared of it, but it's not to say that we shouldn't have guardrails in making sure that these are eliminating opportunities for people to go into this particular workforce. Now, what's different for me is that, I took a geriatric class and it taught me that I'm not just investing in current seniors, I'm investing in my future self. And we need young people to understand that with the work that you're doing now, is making sure that you can live and you can age gracefully and independently no matter where you decide to live. And so it's extremely important that young people understand that, we're giving back to the shoulders that we stand on, but we're also investing in the future selves as we begin to age.
We're trying to increase the amount of technology in long-term care communities here at Direct Supply to help make the life of a caregiver easier. So it's not reducing that level of care or the person-to-person contact. It's really enabling caregivers to spend more time with residents and being closer to the seniors in their care. And so, Direct Supply is proud to partner as a technology solution in that. And also for young folks that are looking at the career landscape and nervous or apprehensive about it, there's a lot of demand in long-term care communities. We really need folks to work in these senior care communities. And so you'll always be able to find a job with the senior living community. So we highly encourage you to find those opportunities. Wisconsin is really at the forefront of some of those caregiver partnerships. The Wisconsin Caregiver Connect program is a very successful state program. And so we're proud of those efforts and appreciate all you've done as county executive to help incentivize businesses to bring their workforce to Milwaukee. We really appreciate it.
I'm wondering, what do you feel government needs to do to help to support some of those challenges that we are having in these spaces?
Well, I think that we don't talk about it enough, right? And when you think about Milwaukee County, other counties across the state of Wisconsin, across this country, quite frankly, we have limited resources to be able to continue to invest, especially in our older adults, in making sure that they can live independently, we can keep them healthy. But let's also not forget that they need to socialize, right? We want to make sure that they have the ability to continue to talk to other people, talk about things, because that's extremely important for the mental for mental health specifically. But the challenges really comes with funding. I think that when you think about Medicaid and Medicare, a lot of those reimbursement rates have quite frankly stayed flat. And I think it's important as people talk about expanding that to allow more people to be covered. You have to talk about increasing the reimbursement rates, because if we continue to have them at these low level reimbursements, it's going to be very difficult to even incorporate a lot of this technology that we know is going to help us create more efficiencies, embedding that into the work that we're doing every single day. And so it's about partnerships, making sure that there are other folks out there outside of Direct Supply at the state level, at the federal level, that are looking to make these investments long term, because the more we invest upstream, the more money we're going to save downstream and be able to invest in other opportunities.
It's a great point, County Executive. And, here at Direct Supply, we've been intensely focused on the issues relating to Medicaid specifically that you just mentioned. There's major changes to Medicaid on the horizon as funding changes at the federal level are making their way down to the state. I'm sure this has already begun to impact some of your thinking at the county, but we recognize that federal government's going to kick in less money as it relates to Medicaid for state and local governments going forward. So how are you thinking about and responding to these changes in Medicaid, specifically here in Milwaukee County? And what are you expecting to see as a result of some of those changes at the federal level?
Well, let's just face it, local governments without the assistance from state and federal, the federal level is going to be very difficult, to make sure that we can maintain these service and programs. So the worst case scenario at the end of the day is that we will have to pull out, right? We will have to stop providing the programs and the services that people rely on every single day. And I want to be very clear. It's not just the older adults that rely on these, right? It's their families, it's their support systems who need this assistance as well. And so we have to take a hard look within, figuring out how we not only create more efficiencies, collaboration and partnership is the way moving forward. And so bringing in nonprofits, bringing in for-profits, bringing in all units of government is extremely important to fill these gaps.
Absolutely, yeah. I think that you've been a pioneer at fostering partnership between the local county government here in Milwaukee and at the state level. So we commend you for your work on that in partnership with the mayor. I think you guys have set a new standard for what it means to collaborate with different levels of government here in Wisconsin, and we're proud to see that continue. I've got one more question before we head to questions from the live audience. So, County Executive Crowley, I've read recently about your future state plan.
Yeah.
And, you described it as a comprehensive effort to reimagine how Milwaukee serves everyone who lives, works, and plays in this community. So can you give our partners here at Direct Supply some more of the vision for that program? How can they play a role? Obviously, our partners live throughout the state and throughout the country, but many of them live here in Milwaukee County. So how can they play a part in your future state plan?
Yeah, the future state plan is about how do we reimagine the work that we are doing to make sure that we are reaching our goals, right? We don't want anybody to fall through the cracks. And just like our state motto says, we need to move forward, but we can't continue to do that if we continue to allow families to be left behind. We want to make sure that you have equitable access to these programs and services and that they're actually working. And I think particularly not just in government, but a lot of businesses, they will start a program, they'll start a service, but they're not measuring exactly what they're doing. And if you're not measuring it, it's hard to actually hold yourself accountable of really meeting your outputs, meeting your outcomes. And so the Future State Project is really about bringing voices to the table to reimagine how we do this work. This is where the partnership comes in, because leveraging these opportunities can help showcase what you can do in private businesses, where we can continue to just grow all the work that we're doing together across the state and across the country.
Great.
Right here.
I think that's well said. I want to offer the opportunity for anybody who's joined here live.
Our founder and CEO, Bob Hillis, has been talking to us a lot over the last couple of years about the silver tsunami. Ryan had a question for you about how we're going to incentivize the workforce to help meet the needs of that wave of baby boomers that are going to be retiring. But I'm curious what you might be thinking about how we need to meet their needs in terms of inventory, like places for them to live. Because, as it is, as we see supply constrained, demand is going to make it so that the prices price out the middle class and the poor. And so that's a major concern for me. I'd like to learn more about what you think about how we can address that.
So first and foremost, thank you for that question. So housing instability is not new to me. I was evicted 3 times before I graduated high school. For at least 15 years, had to move every single year. And since I've been the county executive, we have been focusing on building more affordable housing, particularly around for seniors, for working families, but also for people with disabilities, right? Who have the ability to also work and live independently. I truly believe that we can build more affordable housing, particularly around this space for seniors. We know when it comes down to long-term care facilities, many individuals don't want to go there anymore. And so by building more senior housing, it's not just about giving them a place to stay. I think that's where government, as well as the technology you all have, can actually play a role.
Any other live questions?
Mr. Crowley, it's really nice to meet you.
Nice to
Let me
meet you
say
as
that
well.
first. Welcome to Direct Supply.
Thank you.
I'm an engineer here at Direct Supply, and I just completed 4 years serving on the board for serving older adults, who you know very well.
Very familiar.
Yeah, and it was quite a pleasure there. As you know, SOA runs the senior community centers for the county. And what is your vision for the future for the senior community centers here in Milwaukee?
I'm gonna be honest, I don't have one because the seniors have it. It's extremely important that the individuals who are directly impacted by different issues have a seat at the table, right? You have to allow community members, communities that are impacted, a seat so they can lend their voice to those solutions. And so we have a commission on aging. And on that commission on aging, we have commissioners who have been working actually to reimagine all of our senior centers across Milwaukee County.
I've got one for you that's, I imagine in your role, there's a lot of things you have to do, but there's also things that you really want to do, right? That have personal impact for you and others. What's maybe one of the things that's on your list that you want to get accomplished, within your current role or in the future, that's really kind of a personal piece for you that, man, I'd love to see, progress in this area?
It actually evolves around technology and data. I think that, in government, we don't utilize enough data to actually tell the story or to actually make informed decisions long term. And so my goal always, when I was a state representative in the state capitol and as county executive, is to create an open data portal, right? How do we at least create publicly facing dashboards, right? We've done that around opioid addiction. We've done it around housing. We've done that around motor vehicle collisions. And soon our goal is to do this around seniors to figure out how we can absolutely help them moving forward. But that's where we need partnership. How do we partner with not just an MSOE, with a Marquette, or with a business like Direct Supply is going to be key in order for us to get it done.
Any other live questions from folks?
Do you have any recommendations for places that you would love to see us support, either nonprofits or local businesses you'd love to see us check out?
Oh, that's a really great question. Well, I always think that our any youth development organization that you can partner with, I think about, for me, I had an urban underground growing up. And if it wasn't for that youth organization, I wouldn't be standing in front of you today. When you think about the Running Rebels, the Boys and Girls Club, the YMCAs, the Black Achievers, and you can go on and on, UCC, LCC, I think it's important to really focus on our young people because they don't know what opportunities are out there, especially when it comes down to technology, right? And how they can actually take advantage of it.
County Executive Crowley, thanks so much for joining us today at Direct Supply and for the Tell Our Stories podcast. It's been an honor to have you here and host you. We're proud to partner with you going forward on senior care issues and Milwaukee-related issues. And Sharon, thanks so much for being a part of the conversation today, too. My biggest thank you to County Executive David Crowley for joining us. I really enjoyed our conversation today, and I hope you did, too. We know that aligning policy, workforce development, and technology to better support aging populations and those that care for them is going to be critical to improving the lives of America's seniors. County Executive Crowley had his own personal reason for supporting these efforts, and I'm sure each and every listener has their own story too. As our country continues to age, the role of local communities has become even more critical. Progress is going to mean investing in the workforce, strengthening public-private partnerships, and ensuring that the policies that you see at every level of government work together to support access, quality, and innovation in care delivery. At Tell Our Stories, we're focused on building the aging infrastructure that the moment demands. Visit tellourstories.com to explore these key issues and share your story so policymakers can hear what's working and what needs to change. I'm Ryan McNamara, and this is Tell Our Stories, where policy meets people.